What would you do to relax? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, being a senior in high school and preparing for the transition into college have completely wiped me out. So, if I had ample time, I would definitely mellow out by treating myself with melodious classical or instrumental songs. I guess the reason is that I'm a real sucker for this musical genre, as it always has this therapeutic effect on my mind and body, as well as helping me to release my pent-up frustration after a back-breaking working period at school. Do you think doing sports is a good way to relax? Yes, of course. On the whole, I reckon that any kind of physical activity can be considered as a form of escapism from your hectic working life. So, by partaking in sports activities, you can definitely let your hair down. On top of that, being physically active can maintain and strengthen your cardiovascular health, as well as preventing many life-threatening medical conditions such as strokes, obesity, and high blood pressure, to name but a few. Do you think vacation is a good time for you to relax? Well, yes, in general, I believe that taking the time to dabble in a weekend jaunt to virtually anywhere of your liking can serve as a great outlet for your daily stresses and concerns. Not only that, this can also be immensely helpful if you want to stay away from the hustle and bustle of your day-to-day working life and recharge your batteries so that you can achieve work-life balance and be fully prepared for a brand new week. Do you think students need more relaxing time? Well, if you ask me, I would say that students deserve to have more time on their hands to blow off steam. What I mean is that today's exam-oriented education induces cramming as well as overly intensive studying, which can potentially result in detrimental consequences, namely chronic stress and even clinical depression in some extreme cases. Describe an occasion when you were not allowed to use your mobile phone. Well, to start things off, I believe that the cell phone is a must-have item for virtually anyone in this day and age, especially whenever we're on the go. I put it down to the fact that, thanks to the unprecedented innovations and advanced technologies usually seen in the latest smartphone models, this technological device has always been a great getaway for many people. So the thought of being detached from my mobile phone is something inconceivable, really. However, there are times when that did happen, and I can still recall vividly one such occasion. It was when I was grounded by my parents for substandard academic performance. So, long story short, I was in ninth grade, the final year of middle school, where everything is a matter of life or death, as every student had to study intensively to prepare for the transition into high school. But this wasn't really the case for me, since my eyes were glued firmly to my pricey Samsung Galaxy 7 smartphone that I had bought recently. As a result, my performance at school was deteriorating, and I constantly received middling test scores at best. So, realizing this alarming situation, my parents decided to take away my phone and forbid me from using it ever again in an attempt to urge me to get my life together. At first, I was infuriated by this drastic change and made quite a fuss about it. As time progressed, however, there was a seismic shift in my mentality as I stopped my crude behavior and devoted a big chunk of my time to studying, and that led to the return of my drive to become a secular student. Thanks to this, I got accepted into a prestigious high school in my city, and fortunately enough, I regained my parents' trust, and the phone was returned to me in the end. How do young and old people use mobile phones differently? I think in today's information era, with the proliferation of mobile devices, there's a world of difference regarding how different generations make use of their phones. On the one hand, the elderly would rather opt for minimalist phones with no built-in smart functions whatsoever, because they often only need a phone to communicate via texting or calling. At the other end of the spectrum, we have many tech-savvy youths who are engrossed by the latest smartphones, equipped with various functions like voice-controlled assistants or built with enough processing speed to smoothly run the latest video games. And you will also probably catch sight of teenagers spending their entire day glued firmly to their phones while scrolling through their social media feeds or texting with their peers. What are the advantages and disadvantages of mobile phones? I think that although it is a groundbreaking invention, the cell phone still has some noticeable downsides that cannot be overlooked. As we all know, phone addiction is a pressing concern among the general public, since this could lead to unwanted outcomes, namely weakened eyesight, deteriorating relationship with your loved ones, and most notably, social isolation. Additionally, privacy violation, identity theft, as well as the bombardment of sexual or violent content on social networking sites are also worrying problems. On the other hand, mobile phones do have their merits. For example, they can facilitate communication by enabling users to stay in touch with others despite geographical barriers, all thanks to the internet. One more thing to consider is the plethora of high-tech features that have changed our life for the better, such as the GPS system. Do you think it is necessary to have laws on the use of mobile phones? To the best of my knowledge, I do believe that we need to impose laws to restrict the use of mobile devices in certain places. Only by doing this can we establish proper social conduct among the general public. To illustrate, in temples, churches, and other places of worship, if people disregard the presence of others and just decide to be a nuisance by disturbing everyone with deafening noises from their phones, this can affect the sacrality of such places. Moreover, misusing your phone may lead to a life or death situation, as there have been a tremendous number of car accidents related to this matter. Moreover, I think that people who violate these rules should be heavily penalized. That is to say that this could be a deterrent to the violation of laws regarding cell phone usage. Do you prefer face-to-face conversations or conversations by phone? Personally speaking, I would always opt for communicating with others via mobile phones, simply because of convenience and the fact that the intimacy of talking in person is still retained, thanks to the innovative feature of video calling. Moreover, amidst the COVID pandemic, it is really in your best interest to keep yourself secluded in your own home to prevent yourself from contracting the virus, thereby protecting your friends, your loved ones, and your community as a whole.